Hello and welcome back to Hey Moon Eyes. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after these two, Duncan and Revri, had their talk, where, I wouldn't exactly call it the talk, but it's more like, Revri, either by not taking the hint, or still sort of being kind of, feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help my drinking buddy, decides to seek out Duncan, who, after having that awkward, well, I wouldn't even call it awkward, it's sort of painful conversation with his brother, who told him basically like, hey, I don't like the fact that you're leaving, but I know that you have to leave because you're never gonna be happy here, literally here in our galaxy, or in where we live, that you have to leave, but I don't like it. He is understandably not very, well, he's not doing well, basically. And he told Revri, like, hey, I need space. And Revri's like, okay. But, I'm not gonna give it to you because, like, I like you and I feel that I need to, like, make sure that you're okay. So, yeah. Revri, you know that this is gonna come back and bite you in the booty. Because if you recall, at the very beginning of the visual novel, you see that something is gonna happen, which is gonna split them up. And it's not something good. So that's why I kinda feel that this story is sort of like a doomed love story. But yeah. What else? At the end, they basically decided to be, well, I wouldn't call it being casual, no, they're drinking buddies. Revri and Duncan. Which, unfortunately, Duncan is gonna kind of, take advantage of a little. He's gonna be, to Duncan it means one thing, and to Revri it means another thing. And I kind of feel like that's gonna be like a running thing with these two, with communication and the lack of, or the barrier, the cultural barrier and things like that between them. But yeah, anyways, enough talking. Let us finish out this first chapter, I believe. Yeah, this is the ending part of the first chapter, actually. When he woke the next day, he made sure to tell you good morning over the messenger, as friends do. It would have been rude not to. When he spotted you in the hallway, he waved and made idle conversation, unaware of the way that you were toying with him. The first day was marked by little moments between friends, a wave, a message, a gentle touch on the arm, and shared smiles. You asked for time and space, and he was perfectly happy to give you that because he had not come to know you. Thus, the extent of the interactions with you were good morning, a friendly wave, and he would show you his tusks, a thing he found himself doing more and more often, but only for you. Because you were friends, of course. The promise to hang out occasionally was all he needed. In the slower moments, he happily imagined the occasional dinner, or perhaps you could go to the gym together, or sign up for the same trainings, or walk through hydroponics. There were many facilities on board the two friends could utilize. Once or twice, he could not expect too much. You were only friends, and you had already been so generous with your time. Never mind how the little moments lingered. Never mind the moments your eyes met, and he felt his ears grow warm because they were just that, little moments between friends. Was that friendly commiseration over text? Or did it matter that you stayed up the whole night talking? Friends talk. Revri was happy to listen to you talk about how your bothersome coworker had made himself a nuisance, and Revri shared his frustrations that nobody had picked up after themselves in the gym. These are things friends discuss. You promised to help next time it happened, and to spot him during his next workout, as a friend, of course. That night, Revri fell asleep with his messenger in his paw, and he cursed himself for imagining you did too. The following day, Revri jumped when his messenger rang, and showed his tusks to no one at all when he saw who had messaged him. Hey Rev, I'm at the canteen on B level. Join me for dinner. Maybe a bev? Could use a drinking buddy. Revri wasted no time responding. Yes, I would be honored. I am on my way. It had only been 2 days. He was certain that you would have waited longer, but Revri was your drinking buddy. That must have superseded any other human customs around friendship. Never mind that he was several floors down. Never mind that his tail whipped behind him, and he showed his tusks to nobody in particular. He was merely excited to see his friend, and nothing more. Never mind the way that he danced down the halls on his hooves and had to remind himself that you were only friends. He almost believed it too. The canteen was full of people who made idle chat with one another as new friendships and working relationships formed. The mournful atmosphere was lessened, but not absent, a good sign, Revri thought. Hey Rev, over here! You stood from one of the corners and waved Revri over and gestured to an empty seat across a small table. How was work? You slid a glass of water across the table. A great deal of paperwork. There was a fight in the engineering over what seemed a small thing, but it was an otherwise productive if boring day. I did manage a moment of meditation at least. And you? About the same. You asked other simple questions. Revri offered simple replies, but your eyes drifted to the windows to the canteen or into your glass of water. The awkward and muted atmosphere must have been infectious. You idly tapped the sides of your glass. Revri struggled to find words but forced himself to break the silence. I am surprised that you invited me out this evening. Felt like I could use my drinking buddy. You rocked back in your chair and sighed. Are you alright? Yeah. I do not believe you. You tilted your head, surprised by Revri's boldness. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm not. You scratched the back of your neck and looked away, then back at Revri, but you could not maintain eye contact. Still thinking about my family, my brother. Revri reached across the table and grabbed your arm, a friendly touch. It was a hard thing. No one could expect you to heal in one day. This may take time, and you should know that you have my support should you need it. You rested your free hand on top of Revri's paw while he absent-mindedly stroked your forearm. He flipped his paw and grabbed your hand. Your fingers wove together. Revri noticed the calluses on your hand while you squeezed 2 of his fingers. You laughed when Revri flipped his paw over and marveled at how much larger it was than your hand. He showed you his tusks when you squeezed his thumb, and when you looked up, your eyes met his and… As your friend, of course, and drinking companion. Thanks, Rev, The both of you pulled away. You looked up at the ceiling and into a light while he drank the rest of his water in one big gulp. He could not help but miss your warmth. Once the feeling faded, he spoke again. Have you tried to contact them? We are not leaving the galaxy for some time yet. You may still be able to reach them. I don't have anything to say. Nothing they haven't heard before. I wish that I could explain it. Your face twisted into an inscrutable shape, and Revri understood. Once again, he reached over and grabbed your hand. He could not let his friend go through this alone. I'm glad that you joined me tonight. You're easy to talk to. It is my pleasure. For a long moment, you enjoyed each other's company and the gentle warmth of one another's friendly touch. Revri's mind began to wander, but before it could go far, you jumped. Shit, I almost forgot. Have to calibrate some equipment tonight. I will not keep you from your work, unless you could use my help calibrating your equipment. You pulled away and punched his arm with a playful laugh. Revri was not sure why, but he grew embarrassed. Knock it off. Real equipment. You turned around and reached into a bag to withdraw 2 black rectangular objects with an antenna sticking out the top. Walkie-talkies. Shortwave radio, old school stuff. They still use it on the new colonies because it's less energy intensive. You pointed to a strip of silver on the top of them. These are solar powered, real useful in the field. Haven't heard of any colonies without a sun, have you? Lots of our stuff is solar. Of course, solar flares and other magnetic interference can be a problem, but still. We have a ton of equipment like this, analog stuff in case the digital stuff stops working. With carefully placed receivers, they can transmit over 100 miles or more. In this galaxy, we have so many satellites that we don't really need these, but... You ramble on about the intricate technical details of digital and analog communication. Most of it bounced off of Revri's snout, but he liked listening to you talk. But enough of that. Here. You shoved one into Revri's paw. Wanna go test them out? I had a long day. Perhaps I would rather rest? He teased and showed you his tusks as he rolled the device over in his paw. You frowned and crossed your arms. You teasing me? And hey, if I do it tonight, maybe we could, hang out again tomorrow? I joke. I will gladly assist you in this endeavor. Shall I walk to the other side of the room? What frequency should I set the device to? I got a better idea. You insisted that they had to be tested in many different parts of the ship. Revri smiled when you declared that it would be best to turn it into a game of hide and seek. Revri made a show of protest, but capitulated when you grabbed his arm and dragged him from his chair. He could not deny that he was excited for your little game. A game that you were determined to make as harrowing as possible. You hid in the darkest places, forcing Revri to wander into the most distant and largely unoccupied corners of the ship. Can you hear me, Duncan? He was certain that he heard you giggling nearby, but the echo of his hoofbeats and radio static distorted all sound. This is the best way to make sure that they work, you had said, insisting that your expertise had guided you on this conclusion, not any childish impulse. Revri did not mind. He was not afraid of such things. Duncan? He held a walkie-talkie close to his face, as if that would reveal you in a whisper. Getting warmer. Your voice crackled over the radio, shattering the eerie stillness. You will not frighten me. I am Revri Pardacci. Only static and a distant screeching of shoes on tiles answered. Tusks. He had come to a darkened room and held a device to his face. Duncan? He heard his own voice from nearby. He came around the corner and spotted the small black rectangle sitting on the floor, but you were nowhere to be seen. Duncan, are you— Boo! Tusks! He grabbed his chest and slid down the wall. You laughed and folded over, placing your hands on your knees. I can't. I was waiting for... That was not funny. Your face sunk and you covered your mouth. Sorry. You wiped a tear from your cheek and extended your hand. I'll make it up to you, promise. You would promise that all the time, and Revri would believe it. After the game, you each took a radio to your rooms and talked. It was easy to fall asleep to the sound of your voice. He did not even remember when it had happened. The following days passed easily as a certain routine was established. Whenever he had a free moment, Revri would message you or check to see if you had received a message from you. The routine changed only slightly on the fourth day. It began as usual, small talk, asking how work is going, or if he had any plans after his shift ended. He did not, so of course, he accepted your invitation. That would become ritual. It was merely friendship. Who would not want another's company on this lonely journey? It would have been cruel of Revri to decline. And of course, the gentle touches of a friend greeting a friend were just as welcome. That was, after all, what you were. Friends, good friends, but only friends. But that night things changed. Revri was woken up by your knocking on his door early one morning. Most of the ship was still asleep. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes, certain that he was mistaken, but you were still there. Morning, sleepyhead. Sorry to wake you. Ah, hello, Duncan. It is early. Are you alright? I'm fine. I forgot your walkie the other night. I need to return it before inventory this morning. Oh, of course. You followed him inside, and after a brief search, located the radio. Sorry to get you up so early. I'll make it up to you. You whispered in the hall. It is of little consequence. I am glad that I was able to help. You turned to walk away but hesitated. Thanks. You wrap your arms around him and pat his back. Wanna join me for, breakfast later? Yes, I would enjoy that. See you soon. You waved and ran down the hall. It was harmless, Revri knew. You were simply retrieving important equipment after a lengthy test run of said equipment. Very sensible, very responsible, Revri thought, and a hug between friends was harmless. But others would talk. They insisted that you were sneaking about for a romantic rendezvous, that the hug held some hidden intention, that there were more going on between you and the companionship. So, Revri, we heard someone snuck out of your room this morning. You misunderstand. We are only friends. You do not trick us, Pardachi. He is Duncan, communications officer. We heard that they have been gallivanting together for days. Simir? He always looks angry. I have only ever heard him yelling. He is not angry. He is a thoughtful man looking out for everyone. It is good that someone is thinking of our safety. And so they talked and talked. They claimed that all those friendly touches were evidence of something more. How rude. Did they have nothing better to do? Revri could only shake his head, remind himself that you were only friends. But no matter what he said, they would laugh and make jokes and insist that because you ate your dinners together, that there must be more. All because you would offer a friendly hug before parting. How ridiculous to suggest that it meant anything, but those friendly, harmless touches spurred them on. How are things between you and Duncan going? I heard that he spent the night with you. She swiped the screen away and looked away with the feigned disinterest of someone who was not minding their own business. That awful falsehood. No, he had to retrieve something from my room. I do not appreciate speculations on the nature of our friendship, he said, ignoring the way that she kept glancing at him. Right. Sorry, that's... Oh, Officer Shields, what a surprise. Revri dropped the wheelbarrow and turned around. Ah, Duncan, I am glad to see you. You were not there. He slumped his shoulders and glared. What a cruel joke. That is not funny. Does everyone on the ship have such tasteless humor? That's not the way that someone reacts when just a friend walks into the room, but fine. If you don't want to tell me, then you can just refill basins 3A and 3B. I got a new nutritional mixture that I want to test. Yes, of course, but no more jokes. No more jokes. She held up a pinky and smiled, but Revri did not believe her. He set the thought aside and went about refilling the basins, and for a happy moment he lost himself in his work. He was so lost in his work that he did not hear the door swishing open. Officer Shields, to what do we owe the pleasure? He frowned and shouted to her without turning around. That will not work again, Lupara. Ma'am, just bringing lunch for the big get. Ah, Duncan! Revri stood upright and hit his head on a low shelf. Ow. Hello. He showed you his tusks, but faltered when you rushed forward and touched his cheek. Rev, are you alright? Poor guy, I didn't mean to scare you. You laughed and ran your fingers along his cheek. Not this time anyway. I was not scared, I was only surprised. He muttered in a poor attempt to salvage his pride, but it was difficult to remain composed as you scratched his chin. I know. Come here, I want to make sure that you're not bleeding. I brought you a snack, by the way, that salad that you like from the good cafeteria. You tilted your head towards the table where a plain brown bag sat. Thank you for the meal. I am fine. Don't argue with me, Revri of Pardache. He shuddered at the sound of his verse on your lips, at least until he saw your face. Revri knelt and felt his stomach twist itself into knots and his heart tried to escape his chest as your fingers pushed his fur apart and touched the small bruise. He had to resist the urge to lean into your touch. You are bleeding. If it hurts later, I'll kiss it better. You forced a laugh that filled the room. I mean, I'll put a bandage on it. That was a joke. Your eyes drifted to the side. Thank you, Duncan. I appreciate your medical expertise. Revri stood and looked down at you. You stared back, a pinkish red hue on your cheeks, your hand still behind his ear. Anyways, the snack. Consider it my apology for the other morning. No apology is necessary. I was honored to be of assistance. Cool. Hey, we still home for dinner later? If not, that's cool. I just, planning ahead. I will see you this evening. Nice. See you then, buddy. Bye. You opened your arms and then closed them, laughing at yourself. Ma'am. You saluted Lupara as you walked by. Please call me Lupara. Like the shotgun? My father was a big fan of classic Terran novels. Interesting nickname, but alright. You looked back to Revri and waved, nearly tripping over a stool, then paused in the door to say goodbye one more time. Revri looked to a cross-armed Lupara. Do not speak a single word. What? I was worried that you were hurt. Luckily, Duncan was here. What would we do without his... Her voice was low and heavy and mocking. Medical expertise. She pursed her lips and giggled. We are only friends. What was a hug between friends or a shared drink late at night in your room? Mere talk, foolish gossip would not prevent these small, harmless things. You would always remind people that we were drinking buddies. It sounded sweet on your tongue, and it felt like the sun kissing your ears, but Revri was sure that he was only imagining that. But there were times that it became difficult to ignore the talk. On the 8th night, Revri walked to the comms tower to bring you lunch, merely returning your earlier favor, and was surprised to see how crowded it was. He walked to the nearest desk and inquired about your whereabouts. Excuse me, I am looking for Duncan who sails, Officer Shields. A small round, red-furred, fluffy-tailed, and bug-eyed Hibazi waddled over to him. You must be Revri of the Pardachi who remembers, yes? Yes, I have brought food for... Duncan! Make haste! Ah! They jumped and screamed and waved their arms through the air and ran in circles around the room and leaped and glided from desk to desk. Wait, Act with urgency! Act with haste! Duncan! Footsteps pounded from a distant corner of the room. I'm coming! Out of the way! Kizu, what's wrong? Is someone hurt? What's... You tripped over something but caught yourself on a wall. Kizu, who's hurt? What happened? I got first aid and... Revri? Your eyes widened. You took off your hat and smoothed your hair, then propped yourself up on the wall in that bizarre human way and nodded towards him. Hey. Your Pardachi is here. He's not mine. Then why do you spend so much time talking about him, It never ceases. I hear more about this Pardachi than I do about the state of our radios. You pulled your cap on and attempted to hide your face. Revri of Pardachi is so sweet and kind. Oh, I can't join you for games tonight, Kizu, my friend who I loathe. I don't loathe you. Because I'm going to make kissy eyes at this Revri of Pardachi. Act with decency. So much of this. He is so broad, with the cutest ears on his tusk. They are sharp and shiny. He must be so virile. You hiss through your teeth, that horrible false smile on your face. Don't you got work to do, Kizu? And Jesus, just call next time. I thought someone died. The situation was appropriately urgent, but if you insist. They waddled off to a desk and resumed their work as though they had not been screaming and howling and glided about. Everyone in the room was now staring at the two of you. Hope they didn't give you a hard time. I know Kizu for a long time. You looked at them and shouted your disapproval. They're a little dramatic. You know how friends can be. Kizu turned towards the pair, their eyes bore holes into Revri. I am not bothered. I know we are only friends. Something glimmered behind your eyes. You smiled and leaned over and shoved him with your elbow. That's right. This game, the chasing, the teasing, it was torture. He felt wild and insane. He could not imagine anything more challenging than this. He did not know what waited for him, for you, but he would. But then, in that ignorant and innocent moment, he counted his words and measured the duration of your touches and your lingering eyes. Those playful moments, little wonders, a curse, but those moments were not what ruined him. It was rare, private moments, absent of the whispers and talk, gentle and quiet, peaceful and good. Those moments doomed him. But neither of you was ready to stop playing the game. Had he just acted, had you only said what you wanted, all that wasted time wasted with cursed and playful moments. Revri was meditating in the hydroponics, enjoying the gentle sounds of the water dripping into the basins and the quiet hum of machinery when the door opened and footsteps stomped out the serenity. Hey Revri, how ya… Oh, sorry. Revri nodded and acknowledged your arrival, shut his eyes but did not speak. He listened to you shuffling around and coughing into your hand. So, how long do you do this for? Revri exhaled and spoke with the same breath. 1 standard hour. A whole hour? Revri opened one eye and looked at you. Sorry, I didn't mean… I am… sorry. Revri shut his eyes and cleared his thoughts. The word cute floated through his consciousness and he let it drift away. What a silly thought, you were only friends. Your jacket rustled as you knelt down beside Revri. Do I sit like this? You whispered. Revri opened an eye again and smiled. You were kneeling as he was, but he could tell that you were uncomfortable. You may sit however it is most comfortable. Oh, right. You crossed your legs and shut your eyes. Once again, Revri sought stillness, and for a few precious minutes he found it. How do I know it's working? Am I doing this right? There is no wrong way. You simply shut your eyes and step outside of your thoughts. Acknowledge them, watch them, let them leave, breathe in and out, until you are… still. Okay. You were trying your very best. It was endearing, but Revri could tell that you were not a person whose mindset made meditation easy. He heard you fidget and squirm and curse under your breath until you finally let out an exasperated huff. I think I'm gonna go. Message me when you're done. If you want to hang out. Revri nodded and opened one eye to watch you leave. Bye. Your face was red with embarrassment and shame like a child caught pilfering treats. Revri shut his eyes again and searched for stillness, but no matter what, he could not get you out of his thoughts. Later that evening, he found you in the pool, legs crossed in a chair. When he said hello, he startled you so badly that you fell to the ground. In those moments, it was hard for Revri to remember the important truth of things. He knew that the gentle touches, and the hours-long conversations, and the shared meals, and the sitting closer and closer together, and all the other things didn't mean anything. Surely had your mind changed, you would have said so. He reminded himself that your warmth, like a sun gentle and kind, meant nothing to him, nor your smell, smoke and mint and tree bark, nor the way your laugh made him feel like singing and… No. We are only friends. He had to remind himself of that fact every day. The mere thought of you had him show his tusks to no one and made his tail whip around, and he would feel the compulsion bounce on his hooves. Because you were such good friends, of course. But still, in his most indulgent moments, he dreamt that you were, or could be, maybe, more than friends. He caught himself imagining that you were indeed making kissy eyes at him, but he could dismiss the thought the moment that he saw you. It was clear from your behavior that you were not interested. But you were much better at this game than him. Hi, Rev. Glad that I ran into you. I was thinking, wanna hit the gym together? I could use a spotter and, You moved closer and gestured to him. You are so big. I thought you knew better. Revri respected your commitment to physical fitness. Yes, I would enjoy that. Merely to show that he, too, cared about fitness. He flexed. His breath got sucked into his throat when you put a hand on his bicep and squeezed. I would. Lifting things in hydroponics is paying off. You're so huge. Cool. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Excuse me, Duncan, who sails fearless. I am remembering that I must go. I will see you this evening. Farewell. He buried his head in his paws and hurried away, his hooves announcing his shame to the whole crew. You muttered something behind him, a joke at his expense to be sure. You're so huge. What a fucking creep. God damn it, How could he feel this way after how many days? 8, 9? What kind of selfish fool was he? Had he let the talk get to him? He found himself reading into those little harmless moments, those lingering touches, the late night talks, the meals together. What has become of you, Revri of Pardace? You needed space and time and a good friend. He stomped his hooves and shook his head and steeled his resolve. But it did not help him from bouncing on his hooves when he thought of you or planning his day around seeing you. Even after that crucial reminder, he deluded himself into believing that you might feel the same way. You were just being friendly when you messaged him at the same time every morning, and it was a sign of growing camaraderie that the messages grew longer and kinder. It was only kindness that you began to hug him in the evenings after dinner. It was just a medical concern when you rubbed his back after a trying day. You had been tired too. You rested your head between his shoulders, as friends do. For shame, Revri of Pardace. What liberties would you take next? What assumptions would you make? Revri grew hot with shame and tried to remind himself of the truth. But it seemed the others on the ship were determined to challenge that notion. Or did they know what he did not? Was this teasing or urging him to act, shouting at him to stop wasting time, stop bowing to expectations or rules, stop playing this game because one day you will wish that you had just acted? Revri of Pardace who remembers. Have you seen Duncan? I require his labor. I am not the keeper of Duncan who sails. So you have not seen him today? Do you lie, Pardace? Revri snorted and looked away as they climbed up onto the table and leaned closer and closer, leering at him with judgmental, furious eyes. He is in Hangar 3, running diagnostics on a communications satellite. He finished eating some minutes ago. Thank you, Revri, keeper of Duncan. That is not my verse. It may as well have been. He would have saved you both a great deal of grief had he embraced it then. Revri found himself mere days before the skip that would send the ship millions of light years away when he had a horrific realization. All those gentle touches, small gestures, and little moments of kindness and friendship and contact had stacked on top of one another and become an impossible to ignore and insurmountable notion. He had a crush, that odd human word to describe strong feelings. He had never understood it before, but now he faced the weight of his feelings. He understood all too well. He would not jeopardize this friendship, but he was afraid that he would be unable to hide his feelings should the two be alone again, so he devised a solution, inelegant as it was. To his eternal shame, there came a day that he did not message you in the mornings, nor did he join you for lunch, and even made an excuse as to why he could not join you for dinner, the oath. He did not talk the night away with you, though you continued to send messages. He put his messenger away and buried his face in his pillow. All he could think about the entire night was you. And then he did it again. It made his chest ache, but he knew that it was for the best. He had to keep his distance until this childish infatuation passed. It was an even greater challenge for him to ignore your good morning, Rev, that day. His eyes would sweep over the screen of the messenger, and he would catch glimpses of what you sent. Want to eat lunch together? I hope you're having a good... You okay? Let me know if... Haven't heard from me. Rev, are you up? Can we talk? I need to tell you. So he muted them. He needed to focus on work, to get his feelings in check. It was not easy, but focusing on the journey to come helped. Work had slowed as the initial preparations were complete. There would be more work soon, a myriad of checks and rechecks of systems and protocols. But for the moment, they waited. The waiting, the not knowing, this was the worst part. If only they had been able to skip right away. This loathsome anxiousness, this miasma of doubt and wondering. But it would be finished soon. Revri reminded himself, focus, enjoy the quiet, the stillness. When the ship reached its destination, there would be precious little of that. Yes, enter the quiet, still, pleasant moment for introspection. In a secluded alcove, he shut his eyes and embraced that great stillness. So great, in fact, that he was not fully cognizant of what his body was doing in the absence of thought. He did not notice his paws slipping into his pocket and retrieving his messenger. He barely registered that he was halfway to opening the dozens of unread messages from you, and he was only tactily aware of the 3 missed calls. No, he was focused on the thoughts of adventure. He had no idea what waited, but he knew that it would be incredible. His paws hovered over the button to read the messages. It was so awful of him to ignore you, and a single call would not hurt, or a meal, or a talk, or a gentle, friendly embrace, and... No. Revri stowed the device in his pocket and busied himself with whatever task was available. He would give you space like the infinite vastness that they were about to be flung across. That you, Rev? He had to hide in a closet when he caught a glimpse of your head over a crowd. How pathetic. He cursed himself at his inability to control his feelings. Could have sworn I... Damn it. But he knew that if he was alone with you, he would be forced to admit how his feelings had grown, that he was crushed. How he could not help but imagine holding you close and listening to your heartbeat, feeling your breath on his fur. He could only imagine how you would We are only friends. Tusks. He stomped down the hall, ignoring the looks he got. He needed to meditate, but he was certain that you would not find him in hydroponics. If you did not, he was sure Lupara would tell you. Instead, he walked across the ship to one of the vehicle bays. You would have no reason to search here. It was not the best place to meditate, but it was spacious and quiet. The only other time that he had been here was when he played hide-and-seek with you. He laughed, remembering how you... Begone, foolish notion, what treachery memories hid. His thoughts were frantic and dreadfully insistent. Thoughts of bringing you flowers, as he had heard humans do when courting, or writing a song or a poem for you, as the Pardachi do for their prospective lovers. He was not certain which you would prefer. Perhaps he should do something entirely different? Do both, or... No, do neither. Revri of Pardache, you fool. He dropped down on the metal floor and cursed himself. He had forgotten his mat. He deserves the discomfort. With eyes shut, he inhaled very slowly. It had only been 10 days. This is a flight of fancy. Once work began on the colony, he would calm down. Each breath was counted. 1, 2, 3, until he reached 10. Then he counted down. the thoughts of you drifted further and further apart. In only a few minutes, he had reached his desired stillness. The thoughts of you still came, but they drifted harmlessly away. The door opened. He acknowledged this and let the thought drift away. Footsteps grew closer, and they stopped. Sound carried strangely in this place. The thought acknowledged and dismissed. Revri fell into a comfortable rhythm, and for the first time since the day before, when he had begun the arduous task of ignoring you, he felt calm. It had barely been an hour, but with his shoulders relaxed and his jaw finally unclenched, he felt looser, like his burdens had been lessened, and he opened his eyes to… "Ah, Duncan!" He fell backwards. You were still opposite of him, cross-legged with your eyes closed and hands in your lap. You opened your eyes and smiled, the kind of smile that hid a knife, or knowing you, a gun. It filled Revri with dread. "Hey, how you doing?" Your words were soft and alluring, like poison concealed in tea. "I am fine, thank you." He scrambled up, his hooves making an awful ruckus in his haste. "I have… things to do. Farewell." You moved to the door and blocked Revri's path. "Where the goddamn hell are you going?" Revri shrunk back as the illusion of calm about you was blown to smithereens. To work, or dinner. In my room. Thank you." "No the fuck you aren't." You poked Revri's chest. The brutal impact sent him reeling. "You haven't answered my messages since yesterday. What the fuck?" "I have been busy. Very busy. I am sorry. Very sorry." His voice squawked and wavered, and he did not believe his own lie. "Revri or Pardace, do you have any fucking idea how… You took off your hat and stomped forward. Your face was red with fury, and Revri's heart twisted itself into knots with guilt. He had never wanted to upset you. You grunted and growled, you pointed and shook your head, and did it all over and over again, and it was worse than any words. Then you stood in front of him and looked up with a sad, hurt, pleading look, and… oh no. "I have been so goddamn worried." "What? Worried?" You pulled your cap back on, but did not bother hiding your face. "I went to the infirmary because I thought you must have been hurt. I was worried sick. I couldn't think of anything else all day. I'm you." You grumbled and glowered and paced around Revri, who had wronged you. "You worried for me?" "Yeah, I worried for you. God, at least until I got to the infirmary and found out that you weren't there. I asked Dupara if she had seen you, and she said that she did, that you were fine. Then I got real pissed off." "I'm sorry, Not yet, you ain't." Revri had been backed up against the wall opposite of the door. I can't, you." The anger slipped from your face. When you looked back, rare tears sat in the corners of your eyes. "I thought we were having fun." Revri squirmed and writhed, and cursed himself for having upset you. With your fury dissipated, the only thing that remained was a quivering ember of regret and longing. "Do you not want to see me anymore?" You had to pull the words from your throat one at a time like shards of glass from a wound. No, I had a wonderful time." "Then what's wrong? If I upset you, I'm sorry. Is it because I interrupted your meditation? Or, oh, I got the wrong lunch order, and there was meat in the salad? It was an accident, You grabbed Revri's paw, and his heart fluttered and exploded in a panic. He pulled away. You looked as if you had been stricken, heartbreak plain on your face. "Oh, sorry." "Duncan." "No, I get it. I'll see you around, Rev." "Wait!" He grabbed your shoulder. You shrugged him off, but he would not be so easily deterred. "You're busy. I'll leave you alone. It was a weak whisper. I am sorry. It is not your fault, Duncan Husales. You have not offended me. You have not upset me. I have enjoyed every moment that I have spent with you. You turn back to face him. I am afraid that I cannot. I cannot keep my feelings to myself anymore. I want to give you space and time, but I cannot. Revri shamefully tapped his hooves on the floor. What do you mean? I am infatuated. I have a crush on you, Duncan. You do? Really? I had no idea. Revri covered his face. How could you not notice? He knew that he had done an awful job hiding it. You're the first person that I think of when I wake up, and it never ceases. I always think of things that I could do to make your day better. I know you are struggling, and I want to ease your burdens. We have only just met, but these feelings that I have for you are... He knelt and extended his arms to you, the way a Pardachi might when reciting a verse to a prospective partner. He could not help himself. This crush had grown too great, and his heart had been aroused too strong. I am like the ocean before the moon in your eyes, enthralled and powerless. Your joy is my joy, your sorrow is my sorrow, and the depths of my emotion, my affections are moved by your gravity. Duncan Husales, you are the most enchanting man that I have ever met, a cool light amidst my... He scrambled to his hooves and hid his face. I am sorry. Oh, wow. Revri, that's... Wow. No one's ever said something like that to me. I am sorry. I understand Pardachi can come off as overbearing. I do not want to make you uncomfortable, but before you I can only think of song. You took his paw in pity, he presumed. It was the greatest kind of torment. That was... romantic. There was softness in your voice, and the ember of longing and regret had bloomed into something else. Joy. Your laugh was like the sun kissing his fur. I know that I said that I needed time and space and junk, but You brought his paw to your lips. Revri's eyes burst from his head, and he felt as if his heart might explode. I think that I was just plain hard to get. Revri's nostrils flared and he put his paw on your shoulders and gazed upon the moon in your eyes. What? You said that you would not play hard to get, Duncan Husales. I have been vexed by this. You have vexed me. I don't. Not usually anyway. But it's different this time. We are different. You're not just some hot guy for a one-and-done thing. You're patient and kind and... You get me. I don't know. I like you a lot. There. I'm not good with words. You took his paws and held them. Revri could not identify the look on your face. A strange mix of discomfort and excitement. Or fear. I don't want to mess it up by being like, hey, Moon Eyes, want to go back to my room? Like, I might do, you know? With a different guy, but I've only known you for like a week and a half. But you... You took a deep breath and held it. When I'm with you, I feel good. I'm not second-guessing myself. Except yesterday when I thought you were mad at me because I've been affectionate, you know, touching you and hugging without even asking and stuff. I was scared that I drove you off. And that sucked because, when I'm with you, I feel like I can just be myself. I don't gotta be in charge or tough. Can just be me. I like that. And I really, really like the way that you talk. I get butterflies. Revri laughed and hugged you, holding you in the crook of his neck. I am overjoyed that my humble words give you butterflies. He was not certain what a butterfly was, but it seemed a good thing. You stood together in silence, neither of you sure what to do next. Then you pushed away and cleared your throat. Revri of Pardachi, I wrote something for you. 'Cause I know, Pardachi do this thing when, Revri of Pardachi who remembers, um, but you can't tell anyone else. But please, it's personal, yeah? And not very good. The rhymes are bad and I don't know. You seem so small and afraid. Certainly you wanted to just run as far as you could. Revri was delighted, that precious pink spreading from your cheeks to your nose. Here goes. Revri Pardace, I like you, and I think you like me too. If you do, I hope you do. Let's make one verse from two. Because I like you, I think you like me too. Maybe we could sing something new? I know I rhyme two and two, but yeah. He did not know what to say. Your feet pointed towards the door, and you clenched your fists and could not look at Revri. Duncan. He stood over you. You still could not look at him. It wasn't good, I know. I'm not good at words like you. And... Revri put a paw on your cheek. You were warm, hot even, bursting with embarrassment and unrealized passion, Revri thought. It was wonderful. He held you to his chest and rested his head on yours. Revri? Yes, Duncan who sails? Can I call you, my boyfriend? I would be honored. He showed you his tusks and danced on his hooves when you stood on your toes and kissed his cheek. Woohoo! Yeah, hell yeah, You jumped and clapped, and Revri could not stop showing you his tusks, and when you turned to him, you did the same. He had never seen you so excited before, and it was all for him. What an honor. That was really stressing me out. Wanna go get dinner together? I would like that. You walked through the halls arms linked. Revri had feared the confession would have made things awkward, but the conversation seemed to flow even more easily now that he could be open with his feelings. Those gentle touches, lingering smiles all carried deeper meanings. When a small crowd walked by, you stood on your toes and kissed the side of his snout. He appreciated your boldness. Gotcha. That night, when you walked him to his room, Revri dared to invite you in, but you declined. It seemed that you were not quite ready to stop playing this game. I heard humans can be prudish about these things. He showed you his tusks, only slightly stung by your rejection. Tss, I'm not a prude. You'll see soon enough. The way you looked at him made his tail snap behind him and his hoof stomp. You pinched his ear. Are you still playing hard to get? I'll see you in the morning for breakfast, okay? I will miss your company. He leaned down and kissed your forehead too gently, too briefly, more wasted time. Good night. Night. Your hand lingered in his paw, your fingers grazed his, extending the moment until finally you left. He watched you go, not knowing, and you looked back over your shoulder smiling. Was it worth it? All this teasing? Would things have been different if he had grabbed your arm and dragged you inside? Or was the teasing, the lingering, the longing, the thing that made it what it was? Tilling a field, preparing it for a crop. He did not consider these questions. He did not know that he would have them all. Instead, he collapsed on his bed and eagerly awaited your first message. He did not have to wait long. I thought you died. You emphasized the point by stabbing your plate. How? The ship is very safe and I always follow the proper guidelines. You jabbed your fork into Revri's snout. He could smell the berries in your yogurt. Accidents happen. They do. But to think that I died. You wiped the crumbs from your face and shook your head. It was the same look that you gave the poor woman reading by the pool on the first night. pitying and patronizing. One time we were hauling a truck out of a ditch. Winch wasn't secured right, and the cable snapped and BAM! You slammed the table, oats spilled over the bowl and onto his plate. Hit a guy right in the chest, shattered all his ribs. Surveyors work with all kinds of equipment. I thought that maybe a training went wrong, like you fell off a climbing wall or dropped an axe and lost a hoof. Your imagination is one of your more adorable qualities. I wish you had not worried so. You crossed your arms and glared at him. If you'd messaged me back, I wouldn't have. You cannot blame me for this. You said that you would not play hard to get, and then you played hard to get. The human reputation for duplicity and subterfuge is understated, if anything. It wouldn't be hard to get if you knew. That's the whole point. You reached over and grabbed his paw and pulled it to your lips, your favorite romantic gesture. I'll make it up to you sometime. You made a cross over your heart and Revri believed you. I am sure you will. We still on for dinner? If I'm done before you, I'll pick you up. Cafeteria or my room. Revri tugged at his braid and showed you his tusks, feeling inspired to mischief. Always, unless I am crushed by heavy equipment. Knock it off. Or perhaps I will fall down an elevator shaft. When lost in my thoughts, I have been known to walk into walls. You covered your face and shook your head. Don't say things like that, that's not funny. I don't like thinking about you getting hurt. Forgive a guy for caring. What if a cable snaps and breaks my neck? You grabbed your tray and stormed off. Revri followed after, shouting his apologies. Wait, I am sorry, but if I am wounded, you may nurse me back to good health. That would be nice, yes? No, you'd still be hurt. You refused to look at him until he promised that he would not get hurt, and to never joke about such a thing again. I was only teasing. I will stay safe. You better be. You get hurt and you're in trouble. You shivered at some unspoken thought and hugged him again. He would regret the jokes. Enough of that. I hear that we're gonna learn when we're gonna skip today. Should be soon. An exciting thought. Our journey will truly begin, though I feel that I have already found the wonders I sought. He grabbed your hand and kissed it. I really like the way you talk. You winked and turned away, waving over your shoulder as you went, and by the time that you turned the corner, Revri missed your company. With no more stops, there would be little downtime. The show was over, their documentary had been made, the unwanted photos and undue credit taken, and now the galaxy was ready to be rid of the ship and its crew of brave adventurers. Now the real work began. Preparing for the skip meant completing a monumental list of tasks, and then doing them again, and in some cases again. It was, as humans say, better to be safe than sorry, when it came to intergalactic faster-than-light travel. Most skip ventures lasted for a couple of hours, with the longest lasting a full day's time from one end of the Milky Way to the other. This one would last a minimum of 12 days, and would require more fuel and energy than any other single feat in the galaxy's combined history. They had built a single-use megastructure at the end of the galaxy just to process the literal oceans of fuel. As many questions as all of this presented, experts insisted that it was safe. Revri was not concerned. The preeminent expert on the technology was among the crew, which had to count for something. Revri had not seen him, but he worked with you from time to time. From your dinner conversation, he sensed you had held a not insignificant dislike of the man. He is a self-obsessed asshole, wouldn't survive a day in the frontier. Don't know why he's even coming. I am sure that he is not so bad. Don't get me wrong, Burke is genius, but he's an idiot. He wanted to add 3 extra stops. Superfluous. He needs his process preserved to light the way for future generations, asshole. Then he wanted me to set up a long-range sublight comlink in his quarters. You know why? I do not. For more interviews, more. He's here for the fame, the fucking prestige. He has no idea how much energy that shit takes. Do you? It's a lot. Much of the walk that evening was filled with similar complaints. Revri tried not to let your feelings on the man create a basis, but Brooke did not sound easy to be around. Coming to your room, Revri put an arm around you and pulled you into his side. He sounds troublesome, but remember that he has chosen to join us. He is a member of our crew, and will be a member of our community. We should treat him with greater respect and honor his contributions to our mission. You stood on your toes and kissed Revri's snout. Yeah, you're right. He's still a pain in my neck. Thanks for walking me to my room. You're a gentleman, and sorry for complaining all through dinner. An opportunity for your company is a blessing, and from your lips, every word is precious. You are one smooth operator. Absent your company, the day caught up to him. He was exhausted. He opened his messenger to reply to you when his eyes slipped over the words of all hands memo. The skip would begin in 42 hours. He did not care. He entered his room in a haze. He was thinking about how he would make this time to see you, meditate, and get all his work done during the busy time. No, he did not think of the skip or alien galaxies at all. He only thought of you as he let sleep wash over him. But sleep was not destined for him. Opening one bleary eye, he looked at the clock. It had only been 3 hours since he got into bed. The knocking came again, and he pulled his pants on. Sleep called, but if someone was knocking now, it must be urgent. He opened the door, and all at once, arms were around him. He was too tired to move, but he blinked the sleep from his eyes and saw. Duncan? Morning, sleepyhead. Morning? It is not morning. I guess not. You held him tight, your face pressed against his chest. Oh, I brought the tea that you like. Wamu leaf? I got coffee and some oatmeal too. You slipped past the slow Revri, who was certain that he was still dreaming, and set out the meager meal on his nightstand. Ah, sleep well? You propped yourself on your side and showed him your tusks. No, perhaps only a few hours of rest. Your smile faltered. That's what the tea is for. It'll wake you right up. A yawn escaped your lips, but you hid it in your sleeve. Your eyes had bags under them that were visible from across the room, even in the low light. How did you sleep? You looked away, a sure sign that you were lying. Good, great even. Jumped out of bed full of energy. Went for a walk, swam, walked some more. And how did you come here? What? I walked. Thought of you when I was getting my coffee. Figured that I'd stop and see my favorite guy. He crouched and met your eyes. You could not hold his gaze, and there was a bloodshot redness to them. Revri put his paws under your chin when you turned away, tilted it up, and forced you to look at him. But your pupils darted around, looking for an escape. You saw the memo. You clicked your tongue and inhaled slowly. Yeah. He leaned closer, his snout almost touching your nose. It has upset you. I am sorry. No, it hasn't. I'm fine. Got me excited even. I can't wait. His snout touched your nose. You squirmed. You will tell me what is wrong. Nothing, You moved to look away, but he cupped your cheek and turned you back. You are attempting to deceive me. You have not slept, have you? What has brought you here? An anxious tremble in your voice did nothing to convince Revri. I told you, I just wanted to see my favorite guy. The words were flat and unenthusiastic. You are always welcome. Good, cause... But you are lying about your motivations. I do not appreciate it. There was something wrong. If you do not wish to speak of it, I will not force you. But tell me what you need of me. I want to help you. You leaned into his paw and shut your eyes. I couldn't sleep. I've been thinking about my brother. I don't like how we left it. Revri sat on his bed beside you and put his arm around you. There is still time to send a message. I do not know how long it will take to reach him, but 56 hours, 7 minutes, 44 seconds. If we don't move from this spot anyway, I've been doing the math. We'll be gone when he gets it. Then if he sent one back right away, it will take 57 hours, 18 minutes, and 53 seconds to reach us. He pulled you closer. You looked up, pleading. I don't know what to say. I don't want him to worry. Could you help me with it? You're better with words than me. I am honored that you would trust me with such a sacred task. Thanks, Rev. I appreciate it. But I cannot help you with this. Why not? Do not make the puppy eyes at me. They will not work. Any message must come from you. It would not mean anything if I told you what to say. But I am sorry. I cannot help. You groaned and fell sideways. Your head landed in Revri's lap. He ran his fingers through your beard. Is there any other way that I can help you? Want to go for a walk? I want to sleep. I guess it is kind of late. Would you like me to walk you back to your room? You sat up and put your hands in your lap. No, you need to rest. You glanced at Revri, that pink hue spreading across your cheeks, while you leaned over and rested your head on his shoulder. You have, a nice bed. Revri blinked slowly and watched you run your hand over the mattress. It's a good size, I mean. You patted the pillows and tilted your head towards them. 2 people could, fit here. Yes. Please, make yourself comfortable. Perhaps Relax. You removed your shirt and tossed it to the corner, which did not help him relax. I was thinking that we could snuggle a bit. Snuggle? Cuddle, sleep next to each other, in your arms, that kind of deal. Yes, I would enjoy a snuggle. He rolled back onto the bed, lifted the sheets, and pushed himself against the wall to make room for you. What about the tea? I will reheat it in the morning. Come, lay with me. You slid into the bed and Revri looked away. You can take a peek. You spoke with a nonchalance, but there was something hiding in your eyes that made Revri think that you would have liked for him to look. You're my boyfriend. Revri became nervous when your bare skin pressed against him. I do not want to make you uncomfortable. We got our pants on. It's fine. Just 2 guys cuddling. Don't be all nervous now. You were trying to drag me in here the other night. I was taken by the moment. Your confession of mutual affection roused my heart to song. I'm sure that's the only thing it roused. You grabbed his hovering paws and placed them around your waist. You're warm. Are you comfy? I'm not pushing against you or, making you nervous. I want you to be comfortable. I have been known to become nervous around handsome, charming men. You flirt. It was awkward feeling your feet brush against his hooves, and your positioning had to be adjusted many times, but before long, Revri found comfort, and your slow breathing assured him that you did too. Revri lay awake, worried for you. You moved closer and closer, perhaps unwittingly, needing the contact. He wrapped his arms around you, determined to be there for you. He kissed the top of your head, his snout buried in your hair. He can still remember what your shampoo smelled like, mint and smoke. He shut his eyes, listening to your breathing, snoring, and let the sounds lull him into a deep, peaceful sleep. Good morning, sleepyhead. Revri pulled you tighter when he felt you move. Do not go. I will wither and die absent of your touch. You laughed and he felt energy pour through his bones even as you slipped away. Now who's making puppy dog eyes? You rolled back into his arms. He shut his eyes and reveled in your touch. The way your skin felt on his fur, how your chest expanded with each breath. He enjoyed hearing you mutter, though he could not understand the words until you nudged him and laughed. Say cheese. Cheese? He opened one eye. Did you take a photograph? Yeah, look. You held up your messenger and Revri appraised the photo. You were smiling so wide that you might have been showing your tusks. Revri had one eye opened, his mane and braid were mussed, and a look that could only be described as dopey, with his mouth half open. That is not a flattering picture. I think it's cute. Just look at your face. Doll. That's my favorite guy. Feet kicked giddily, and you giggled into the pillow before kissing him on the snout. If it brings you this much joy, then you may keep it. You rolled over and kissed him again. Alright, I'm gonna go reheat our tea and coffee. No, stay with me. He reached after you when you moved away, the tips of his fingers grazing the bare skin of your arm. It was firm and rough and dotted with small scars. Alright, one time got me, but two in one morning, you're getting greedy. Once we skip, there will be plenty of time for cuddling, promise. I will hold you in my arms each night and each day. You will not escape my affections. I really like the way you talk. You walked across the room with the cold beverages and heated them in the microwave. You smiled down at your messenger. Revri became suspicious. You had the same mischievous smirk your brother held on the night that you met. Thanks. That was just what I needed. I am glad. You tapped away at your messenger, laughing to yourself. That'll drive him up the wall. You did not elaborate, and Revri did not ask. It was not his business. He only cared that you were smiling. I slept great. You pulled on your shirt. Revri did not avert his eyes this time. You winked when you looked at him. I'm feeling good. How about you, Rev? I could go for a swim. Want to hit the gym or the pool? Revri reached out and grabbed your wrist, pulling you back into bed with him. No. Fine, this is good too. You lay there with him after the microwave beeped. When Revri was satisfied, you shared a room temperature beverage and set out. Revri no longer counted down the time until the skip. He did not care. The same monotonous training, the same pointless work, forgettable. But he remembered every precious moment with you. And to his dismay, they all passed too easily. One day I promise I won't call you over just to move stuff. It is a skill that I have, and a simple work is satisfying. It relaxes me. The door swished open. Hey, Revri. You jogged through the lab, stepping around the others as they worked. You threw your arms open and hugged them. I finished some stuff down the hall and thought that I'd say, hey, missed you. You kissed a snout. And I you. Okay, wish that I could stay, but only had a sec. One more for the road? I would never deny you. Duncan who sails. Your passions are always welcome. You pushed him back against the table, rattling the pots and tools on the surface and sending a few of them clattering to the ground. I welcome your passions, but we cannot allow this to, You grabbed his paws and positioned them on your waist. You laughed into his mouth, dug your fingers into his back, and grabbed his... Duncan, we are in a place of work. You two need a minute alone? Revri laughed and wiped his spit from his mouth. You rocked on your heels, turned around, and left without another word. Wow. He is... Wow. I will not entertain these discussions. We have been over this. You're chastising me after that? He is passionate. Within him is a solar system worth of romance. It is raw, furious, and... Never mind, I did not want to know. I'm all good for your help. And, tell Duncan I said hello. He invited you to stay the night with him again, craving the contact, remembering that wild and hungry kiss. But you declined. I wish that I could. I'd sleep better with you. Then I will stay in your room. Or you can come in and I can have one more for the road. Yeah, but no, sorry. I gotta get up early. You reached up and touched the side of his snout. I do not see how this is an issue. Issue is if I go in there, neither of us is sleeping a wink. Besides, I got a surprise for you. You'll love it. What kind of surprise would prevent me from enjoying your passions tonight and tomorrow? I'm ironing out some details. I'll message you in the morning, but call it a date. You kissed his nose and stepped out into the hall. Good night. Farewell. I will count each tortured moment until you lay in my arms again. You will revel in my touch. Spinning on your heels, you look back and show him your tusks. I really like the way you talk. No new messages. It taunted him. Worse, it worried him. You had not replied to anything since the night before. You had said that you would message him, but you had not. Had you been hurt? He pondered the myriad of ways that you might have died while he sat hunched in the corner surrounded by potted plants. He shook the thoughts away. No, ridiculous. He had allowed the imagination to infect him. He smiled thinking of how you worried him so, and shamefully tossed the thought away. With his messenger held as close to his face as possible, he inspected the screen. Your last message was an inscrutable mystery. He would need help to decipher this. He stood and found Lupara, then turned his messenger towards her. Hope you slept well, XOXOXO. Followed by a series of hieroglyphs. What does XOXOXOXO mean? He turned the messenger to her. She tilted her head and mouthed the words. X's and O's, hugs and kisses. What happened to I will not entertain these discussions? I require a human perspective. I only ask because the situation is dire. He followed her with their arms extended. She did not look at the screen nor hid her laugh. I require that seed stores are prepared for drop and that Burke stops dictating his journals in the library after work. And that I find some good wine for the party tonight. Speaking of, you and Duncan coming? Music, dancing, food, games. I do not know. Duncan has a surprise. Should I message him again? It has been 47 minutes. Is that enough time between contacts? I do not want him to think me overbearing or clingy. Revri, you've become a good friend to me in the short time, and it is always a good omen when a new relationship forms between a great journey. But... She put her hands on his arm. I really don't care. You're both adults, not lovesick kids. But he is not replying. What if he is hurt? He's not hurt. He's busy. Now either get packing or get lost. I am not spending my last night in my home galaxy doing this. She gestures broadly to Revri and his messenger. She was right. He was behaving like a child, but that did not stop him from checking his messages. By the vast, that should do it. She wiped sweat from her brow and admired the work. Everything was prepared for deployment, ahead of schedule even. The pair sat on a bench and took a brief, well-earned break. I'm gonna miss ship wine. I have a few bottles, but once they're gone, it's out. A shame. It is a great luxury. She rested her head in her hands and gazed thoughtfully through the hold of the ship and out into the vastness. What about you? What are you going to miss most from the Milky Way? We're going to be hurtled across the cosmos to unknown stars. Everyone is going to miss something. Revri turned away and buried his thoughts. I miss Pardace. He left Lupara with his head down and focused on his messenger. He tapped away trying to craft the perfect message to get your attention, but he wasn't able to find the words that would capture your notice. You did not even respond when he had said that he had a free moment for lunch. He was growing so desperate that he considered sending a salacious photograph. This surprise was not worth all the tension. The waiting, the not knowing. He could not stand it. So he found the cafeteria and sat on his own to eat. Again, he messaged you and told you where he was, but you did not respond. He was gazing on his meal when he heard a familiar laugh and a crumbled up ball of paper landed on his plate, having been thrown from behind him. Duncan, I see you. You peeked from behind a plant. No, you don't. Then you hit again, but only for a second. Read the note. Bye. And you ran, abandoning your ruse. Revri wanted to give chase, to force you to divulge your precious secrets, or at the very least share lunch. But you work hard on your surprises. You thought better of it and opened the note. Revri showed his tusks to no one at all. The note was scrawled in terrible Pardace, broken and misspelled. Your scratchy and rough handwriting did not help, but it made him think of home. Revri of Pardace, join tonight in 2100 room that is mine. Surprise big you, be late Duncan. Excuse me, Revri? He looked up to find another crewmate holding a small wooden box. I am Revri of Pardace who remembers, yes. Officer Shields wanted me to give you this. They handed the box to Revri and left. His fingers ran over the smooth wooden texture. It was tied together with a rough twine, and a powerful and familiar herbal scent rose from it and into his nose. How? This cannot be so. He opened the box and the scent grew stronger. It was complex and varied, but he could identify each ingredient, even while they were contained in the small white tea bags. He found himself beneath the trees of Pardace, if only for a second. While we root, Inth, smoked, uri leaf. Each ingredient made a fine tea on its own, but this was a special blend. All of the ingredients sourced from the flora native to Pardace and mixed in specific quantities. He inhaled, the smells flooded his nostrils and stirred memory to life. I have not had this since. Awash in it again. Friends, home. What was spilling over him? He remembers verses. Revri of Pardace. Hands shaking. Hot tea spilling. Hands shaking again. There is an awful thing in the wind. He did not attend them. You would be upset. He was still bored and wished it was you in charge of the presentation. A simple review of emergency protocols. Revri wondered which ones had been written by you. His hand slipped to his messenger, but he did not withdraw it. It was an important subject. And Quan Kizu had thrown a water bottle at someone who was not paying attention mere minutes prior. This information will save your lives. Act with wisdom and pay attention. They hopped onto their lectern and extended a pointer towards the screen. A map of the ship was highlighted with various colorful lines, each one representing the best route to take during one catastrophe or another. Green for evacuation, red for fire, yellow for hull breach, and black for the unlikely event that the ship flooded. During an emergency event, lights will activate. There will be a verbal announcement and an alarm for those species whose sight is more limited. Observe. They reached towards a nearby hard light screen and pressed. Lights changed colors, a deep green that. Alarm rings. They are here again. Revri pardace. Hooves beating upon stone. Siren screams, hands shaking. Hooves beat upon stone again. They are pounding on the door. All of his other equipment, a boring, mindless task, but it would busy him for some hours. After your surprise at lunch, he was pleased to see you had begun sending him messages. Little things, frustrating and vague, but the effort that you were putting into this evening roused his heart to song. Hope you're hungry. Don't spoil your appetite. Thinking of you. His lunch had been small, but he would be sure to keep his snacking to a minimum. His mind began to drift towards food and drink and good company. He would have to tell Lupara that you would be missing her party. A shame, but perhaps there would be time to stop by and say hello. He paused in his task and sent a message to his friend. With the messenger stored in his pocket, he reached into the locker and his paw found the cold metal haft. Between the base and the blade, he found the grip end. A tool for cutting and hacking end. Revri pardace. Feel the axe in your grip? You are a hateful soldier. Feel the axe in your grip again. You are not safe. Clicked to discover most of the day had passed him by. He sought more work, but it seemed that he was not the only one who had had such a productive day. He messaged you and smiles to himself about how much building a new colony was packing and unpacking and moving things around. I would like to see you. He did not notice how heavy his fingers and eyes felt. When had the hull gotten empty? Why was it so hard to breathe? Please reply. I have missed your company. His fingers moved so slowly. Revri pardace, all alone again. Miss you too. He felt a little lighter. Well, since you asked, where are you? Revri sent his location. Be there in a sec. XOXOXOXOXOXOXO. Revri waited patiently for. Revri pardace. The fighting is done. What matters the cost? Know who you are. Revri pardace who remembers. Guess who? Two arms wrapped around his midsection and your face pressed into his chest. He jumped away and reached for an axe that he did not have. Duncan, you startled me. He opened his arms and pulled you into him. Hey, you okay? I was a little worried by your message. His eyes were heavy. He held you tighter when you tried to move away. He thought that he smiled at you, but could not muster the energy to show you his tusks. I have missed your company. You hid your concern behind a smile and took his paw. You did not press him. Glad that I was close by. Spent all morning writing evac protocols. Bored me out of my mind. Was better than stalking rafts though. My arms are gonna fall off. You brought him to a bench in a hall. I only got a minute. I got something that I need to get done ASAP. Revri lifted his arm and put it around your shoulder. He put his snout in your hair and shut his eyes. For your surprise? Maybe. I do not care about the surprise. I want to hold you. You clicked your tongue and cooed and stretched up to kiss him, too gently, too briefly. One hand played with his ears and he felt much colder when you took it away. There will be plenty of that too, I promise. There was a thick, ashy burning feeling growing in his chest. He held you even closer. He could not stand the thought of being alone again. I heard you left Kizu's briefing. That doesn't sound like you. He whined and cursed his weakness. That ash and glass in his throat strangled him. I have only missed your company. If you're not feeling it tonight, we can. He whimpered and shook, afraid of failing you. No, I am excited for the surprise. You stood from the bench and leaned close to him. You opened your mouth and closed it, then stroked his cheek. He felt warm. You sure? He only nodded. Okay. I got some paperwork to sign off on, alright? Here. You withdrew your messenger and sent him a room number. I'll be there. Come find me if you need me or, call or text. Let me know, alright? Revri nodded and clenched his paw. When you turned away, he reached out, but did not speak. You looked back before you turned the corner, your face creased with worry and full of kindness. See you soon. Message me if you need anything, okay? He was alone in the hall again, eyes heavy again. He stood without thinking and left. His hooves beat upon the steel and the sound thundered in his ears. It was loud, like fists slamming on a door end. Revri of Pardace, there is... He felt very cold. Revri of Pardace, they are... He felt very scared. Revri of Pardace, you are not safe. He missed your company. He did not want to feel the sand. And on the earthly smell of soil, no matter how he asked, it seemed that much of the work was done. No need for Revri's strength, but he had always known his role on the ship would be lesser than on the colony. Lupara was humming a song and drinking tea. She had invited Revri, but he declined. He needed to clear his thoughts. Besides, you had promised food and drink, and he did not want to spoil his appetite. He inhaled and observed his thoughts. They were mostly of home, of Pardace. His heart beats faster. He exhaled and let his thoughts go, but the feelings remained and his chest twisted. Revri of Pardace, hands shake, exhale, inhale, but the thoughts do not leave. They come faster, like fists pounding on a door, like hoofbeats on stone, like an axe that... Revri of Pardace, hoofs beating upon stone. Done already? Revri of Pardace, feel the axe in your... Revri hurried to the door. Inhale, exhale, he could not banish the thoughts or feelings. Revri? Revri of Pardace, you are all... There was a message from you. You were getting ready in your room. You had written that Revri could come over in a couple of hours, but he did not want to wait. His eyes felt heavy, and his cheeks were wet with tears that could care. Revri of Pardace, there is an awful thing in the wind. You ran to your room. He did not stop for anything. His paw found that wooden box and squeezed, his hooves thundering upon the... Revri of Pardace, they are beating on the door. He beat upon your door. Revri of Pardace, you are not... He beat upon your door, again. Just a minute. And again. Revri of Pardace, become a hateful soul. The door opened and he threw his arms around you and shuddered and held on. He missed their company. Rev? Hey, what? Revri, hey, sit. What's wrong? I have only missed your company. His jaw was tight. His pupils darted around the room searching for dangers that did not exist. His nostrils flared, and he felt very cold and very afraid, and even angry, and he did not want to feel any of that. Sure, I was just cleaning up a bit. You want a shower or... how about some water or tea? I grabbed some from my room here and, yeah. You wiped fresh tears from his cheek and whispered comforts, and he fell into your touch. I'll go get, maybe I can find... Revri grabbed your arm when you turned away. Do not go. I have missed your company. Okay. I was gonna go get you water. Is that okay? From the room. I mean... Revri loosened his grip. Yes. You kept looking over your shoulder at him as you filled the cup. The crease in your brow grew deeper and deeper, as it always did when you worried over something. But then you smiled. So, couldn't wait to see me, huh? You handed him the water, puffed out your chest, and lifted your shirt so that he could see your stomach. Revri felt a smile threaten his face, and his breathing slowed, if only a little. I could not resist your wiles. He lowered his head and pressed it into your chest. He needed to be closer. Whoa, don't knock me over. And wiles? He could not get close enough. He missed your company. With your arms around his neck, you stroked his mane, and he felt warmer, lighter, safer. I'm happy to see you too. But the food's not ready yet. Have I ruined your surprise? You kissed his forehead and wove his fur between your fingers. Not at all. But, I got some stuff that I needed to do. You want to hang out in here? I'm gonna step out for one important thing, but you can stay here. Take a nap. Would you lay with me? You hopped into the bed and dragged Revri down onto the pillow with you. For a little bit, but I really do gotta go do something. It's kind of the whole surprise. Revri caught something in your eye, but it slipped behind your iris. I'll bring the food here. We can eat, have a couple of drinks. Quiet, private. Your hand found his paw and held it over your chest. He felt your heart beating. The steady thump, thump, thump soothed him. Just us. Revri shut his eyes and listened. No hooves beating upon stone, no fists upon the door, no danger, no fear. You and me. That was all. You had been in his arms for only a few minutes when your messenger buzzed to life. The accursed thing. Shit. I gotta go. You kissed Revri on the forehead, then the nose, then his lips. You stay here. You can shower, nap, anything. I will be back as soon as possible, okay? You stopped at the side of the bed. Will you be okay? I can stay. We can just cuddle. I got some leftovers and snacks. I will be fine. He hugged your pillow and inhaled. Your room was warm. I will sleep. Saving your energy for the main event? You flexed and winked and wiggled your eyebrows in that bizarre human way. Revri laughed. It felt strange. Begone, you foolish man. You have places to be and you must hurry, or you will be late for our date. He threw a pillow at you. You caught it and returned it to him. Okay. If you need me to come back, I will. I know. You paused in the door. Really, I can stay. The sooner you go, the sooner you will return to me. He found enough energy to show you his tusks. You did the same. Then you shut the door and went on your way. Revri shut his eyes and sank into the pillow. Sleep came easily and he did not dream of axes, or spilled tea, or awful things in the wind. He did not sleep long. When he woke, he felt a tenuous and fragile calm draped over him. He opened his messenger and saw over a dozen messages sent in the last 40 minutes. All from you, each one added to the calm and made his thoughts still. Got to the kitchen, sent you the cords. Waiting for the oven to heat up, you okay? Sorry if I woke you up. Food's in the oven. After I'm getting a bottle of wine or two, then we can share. You want anything specific? He scrolled past the rest to the most recent one, sent barely 2 minutes prior. Almost done baking, less than an hour and I'll be back. He leisurely tapped out a reply, his fingers shaking only a little. I took a nap. I am going to bathe. I eagerly await your return. XOXOXOXO. Was that too many X's and O's? It did not matter. He stretched his back, his arms, his legs. They felt lighter than before he had arrived. He counted his breaths and noted fewer thoughts, fewer feelings, but could sense them rolling beneath the surface. He grabbed your pillow and held it to his chest. He sent the pillow back down and wandered to the bathroom, pausing to look at the colorful drawings and the photos of your family. Instead of jealousy, it filled him with warmth. You look so kind in the photos. Hot water poured over him. His shoulders relaxed, his jaw loosened. He clenched his paws, and he felt the tension pour out from his limbs. You did not have proper soaps for him, but he had bathed in the morning. He only wanted to warm his bones and wash away whatever treacherous memories lurked behind his eyes. It worked. His mind began to linger on the mundane and boring thoughts. He was pleased to find that you possessed a hairdryer for whatever reason he could not have guessed, but it looked largely unused, still sealed in the box. He could move his fingers and limbs again. They no longer creaked or snapped or protested under the weight of anxiety. He stopped one more time to examine your photos and bask in the familial joy displayed. Then he sat on the bed and checked the messenger. Another dozen messages had come while he was in the shower. Mostly they kept him up to date on what you had been doing in the kitchen, but the last one informed him that you were picking up the beverages and on your way back. He put his paws in his lap and shut his eyes and allowed himself to enjoy the stillness. There was a tiny, imperceptible tremble in his fingers, a minuscule hitch in his throat. These embers threatened to combust, but he did not let them stop him from finding a moment of peace. 10 breaths in and 10 out, and then the door opened. You held a bag in each hand and one dangled precariously in your teeth while you pressed your rear against the scanner by the door. There we go. You stumbled into the room and placed the bags on your dresser. Hey, handsome. Sleep okay? I did. Feeling better? You draped yourself over him for a loose and too brief hug and too gentle kiss. I am. Good, and I hope you're hungry. May I be of assistance? You can sit right there. I'm pampering you. Revri laughed. It still felt strange. You reached into a bag and pulled out 2 clear plastic containers, each with a salad inside. Then you withdrew an aluminum foil cover tray and placed a set of paper plates, plastic cutlery, and plastic cups. You smiled to yourself as you retrieved the final item, a small lantern that you set on the nightstand. It cast a pale white light over the room. You turned the lights down low, unfolded 2 stand-up trays, and doled out the meal. You opened the bottle of wine and poured 2 generous cups. Ta-da! Surprise! I was gonna get candles, but this'll do. And, at last, you sat on the bed beside Revri. Impressive. I was gonna do it all up, like lights in the hydro, long-stem glasses, that kind of thing. You put a hand on Revri's back. He relaxed under your touch and focused on the feeling of your fingers scratching the rough, black skin beneath the fur. But I think this is better. As do I. Hope you don't mind, but I'm hungry. Then let us feast. What did you bring? That salad that you like. I grilled some veggies and threw some beans in a pan and baked them. Nothing fancy. Revri examined the food and realized that there was no meat in any of the dishes. You did not make any meat? I thought you said that it is not a real meal without meat. He could not help but tease you. It was too easy. To your credit, you recovered fast. I want you to be comfortable. Besides, I bet the meat is still on the menu. Now dig in and save room for dessert. Dessert? It's a surprise. Revri did not ask this time. He had already learned his lesson. Instead, he tried to eat his meal, but his appetite eluded him. You would reach over and squeeze his paw or his leg, and once you even pinched his ear. There was not much speaking, but your company was good enough, knowing that he was not alone, that he had someone besides him, someone warm, kind, patient, gentle, was enough. This was all that he had wanted. He did not care about the adventure, other meaningless promises. He drifted between the thoughts and still had half of his portion left when you spoke again. How was it? You are as skilled as a chef as you claimed. Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm not sure how I did on dessert. Do not doubt yourself. You showed him your tusks and walked across the room to the last bag. When I was in Herzl, some of the folks that I made this. Revri's fingers tightened. Oh? It's a Pardacci dessert. Revri's chest ached, ashes to embers to a blaze. You unwrapped a morsel, a plain clay bowl filled with oats and berries, with a fried bread ball covered in powdered sugar. Amgur? Amgur? Whatever. I hope that it turned out okay. I don't bake. But hey, baking and grilling are almost the same thing. Revri only nodded. I thought, we're leaving and I know you miss Pardacci. He does. He did. He always will. Here. You placed the bowl in his palm and... But Pardacci that was. Hands shaking, tea spills and glass shatters and... will not ever be. Rev? Hey, I'm... Again. Revri of Pardacci, hands shaking, tea blood spilling, staining your hands shaking again. There is something awful in the wind. Revri of Pardacci, hooves thunder upon stone, sirens screaming, hooves thunder upon stone again. They are beating on the door. Revri of Pardacci, feel the axe in your grip, become a hateful soldier, feel the axe in your grip again. You are not safe. Revri of Pardacci, your tears carve canyons, your tusks spill blood of hated foes. Revri of Pardacci, no song, just an anguish cry, hack, gut, hated foes must die. It is happening. Again and 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 again. Revri of Pardacci, the sirens are screaming again, afraid again, broken glass, sundered stone again, alone again. They will never come home again. Revri of Pardacci, the battle is won. Do not, you will mourn, the lost. Know who you are. Revri of Pardacci who remembers, verse lost. Remember versus lost, coward versus lost, run away, run away. I got you, safe, Rev. Revri of Pardacci who remembers versus lost, Revri of Pardacci playing the fool again. Revri remembers versus lost. I'm right here, you're safe. Remember versus lost. You're not there, they're not here, you're safe. Revri of Pardacci has to pick up the pieces again. With me. I remember you. Can I get you anything? Are you okay? Revri of Pardacci who remembers versus lost might have said something, but he could not hear himself. Okay, I'll stay here, as long as you need me. Revri of Pardacci falls apart again. You ran down his back, and then you made a strange alien sound. A laugh? Revri of Pardacci mocked for cowardice again. I didn't realize my baking could be that bad. Revri of Pardacci, you will be alone again. What? He has his head in your lap. He does not remember how it got there, but he looks up at you with tired and sad eyes. Did I use too much cinnamon? Maybe I should have used a cookbook. I kinda winged it. What are you... You cannot mean... He laughs and it feels strange, but his eyes do not feel as heavy. Hey, don't laugh. I tried really hard. You are joking. Now? He leaned into your touch when you pinched his ears. Your fingers were calloused and rough, and they smelled like sugar and berries and left a trace of flour on his ear. I never joke about food. Revri laughed again. He shut his eyes and reveled in your warmth. He took 10 long breaths and listened for your heartbeat in your hand. He felt safe. How are you feeling? Awful. I have ruined your surprise. He looked to the floor. It was strewn with oats and broken glass. I've been on way worse dates. I do not believe you. It's true. I'll tell you sometime. Revri had nothing to say. His guilt and shame were strewn oats and broken glass on the floor. You shouldn't feel bad. It's not your fault. I didn't mean to take you on a trip down memory lane. I'm sorry. Revri rolled onto his back so that he could look up at you. I get it. That it just happens. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night thinking Ma's gonna... Maybe that's a story for another time. You coughed into your palm. Can I get you anything? I only wish to hold you. I'm not going anywhere. Revri shut his eyes and noticed the stillness. His hands stopped shaking. His heartbeat steadied and relaxed. When did thoughts come and go so easily as breathing in and out? Above all, when did he start to feel like laughing? What a strange and wonderful power you had that could turn an anguished cry into a laugh. You tugged on his braid and traced his snout with your fingers. It made him sneeze. When he looked into your eyes, he saw something, but you never held his gaze for long enough for him to divine it. It must have been another one of your surprises. He did not understand what he was feeling, and the words would not come, but he tried all the same. I do not want to be Revri of Pardachi whose tears carve canyons again, or whose tusks spill blood of hated foes again. He blinked and it hit his face in your stomach. His tusk grazed the fabric, and his tears stained your shirt, and he wished that he could be closer to you. I do not know who I want to be, only that I do not want to be alone again. It became quiet, and with his nose pressed to your stomach, Revri grew afraid that you would leave, that he had ruined your careful plans. But you did not let him go. You won't be alone. You showed him your tusks, untangled his fur in your fingers, filled him with warmth. He was safe. Now you're stuck with me. Revri laughed and did not feel so strange. Ah, what a great horror, doomed to the company of a silly, ridiculous man with handsome face. Hey, that's not a half-bath verse. Duncan, the silly, ridiculous, but extremely sexy man. That is not what I said. You were thinking it. But a verse cannot be silly. It is a serious thing. Why not? You could be Revri with the cutest and softest ears. I think that would be a good one. We should make up our own. It'll be fun. Revri rose from your lap and pressed his snout into your nose. You had this look of total certainty, like if this thing was not true, that you would make it so. You would defy universal and cultural and religious laws to do it if you had to, all for him. If I must be Revri with the cutest and softest ears and most virile tusks, then you will be Duncan who has a big butt. I know that you like big butts. Yes, I do. The two of you laughed. It was only natural. He fell onto you, pushing you onto your back. His arms framed your head, and you were smiling, all warm and kind. He knew this is all that you would ever ask of him. Tangled together, he felt safe and warm and wanted, and he could not remember why he had been afraid in the first place, and he tried to tell you that, but the words defied him, because they did not exist. What words existed to describe the feeling of falling into a lover's arms, their breath on your neck that feels better than the loving breeze of your skin? Rapture, euphoria, bliss? These are primitive and insufficient. He fought with the words, and you just smiled up at him. Your gentle, caring touch said everything that he wanted to say and more. You laughed, and Revri of Pardacci, who remembers verses lost, saw something in your eyes, and it was not the moon. It captivated him, and it did not seem so far away. He could see it, every detail, but he could not describe it because the words did not exist, and it tortured him. How would you ever know what he felt if he could not say it? But the words did not exist. But you never needed words to say anything. Hey, Moon Eyes. Your hand found his cheek, and your thumb wiped away forgotten tears, and he still tried to find the words. What you looking at? Revri startled when your lips found his, the gentle, awkward, and probing kiss. You let him set the pace, let him be who he wanted to be, and demanded nothing but his presence. The day was riddled with anxious memories of loss and haunting shadows, but Revri was not thinking of those things. He thought only of you. How your beard tickled his face, and how he thought that you must have brushed and perfumed it because it was so soft and smelled like trees and smoke. How your lips tasted like oats and berries and wine, sweeter than any words. The way that your fingers dug into his fur and dragged him nearer to you, seeming to warp physical limitations in how close you became. But still, he tried to summon the words that did not exist. It was warm and kind and patient and gentle and furious, and his heart could explode, and he could not find the words, but I know now. I loved you. Even then, so long ago, I must have loved you. I still do. I always will, even with this door between us. I remember that gleam in your eyes as you laughed and fell back on the bed. Hey, you're supposed to shut your eyes when you kiss. How will I look upon you, you wondrous, kind, and gentle moon-eyed man, if my own eyes are closed? You laughed like it was a joke, but it was the most serious thing. I love the way you talk. Time and space stretched around us and became meaningless, but I know, I loved you. I still love you. That is the only thing worth saying, but we still do not need words to say it. Could it be that as reality folded and we outsped light, that I lived a lifetime in your arms? Or does loving you, being loved by you, make time pass so freely that it never had any meaning in the first place? Or is it that I have loved you for so long now that I no longer remember a time that I did not? You pulled me closer and closer, and when I was as close as I could get, you urged me closer still, and I know that I loved you because loving you is so easy that it must have always been a part of me. And now I think that you must have loved me even then too. Those voracious and relentless passions, each kiss bolder and more practiced, each touch more deliberate and more sure, made words seem more and more useless. With only your touch, you told the universe that you would change it, all for me. I could feel your chest rise and fall against mine as we embraced. There are no words for the feeling of falling into a lover's arms. I know now that all that I wanted and want is to be nowhere except in your arms, where you whisper to me those very sweet wants and needs, the only thing that you would ever ask of me. The night that I lie in your arms and listen to you describe all the things we would find on our journey. You promised that we would find a home all our own, to build the way that we wanted. A crucible in which to test our convictions and skills, a place where we would build our own future. There would be alien wonders and terrors, but it would be ours. We would have to fight for it, yes, but it would be ours. I shut my eyes as time and space became meaningless around us, and thoughts of all those things you promised. And I realize now too late that those things did not and do not matter, because I loved you, and it was everything that I had ever wanted. If only we knew that we would find all of these things. If only we understood the cost. If only that moment in your arms had lasted forever. But every moment must pass. To be continued in part 2, First Light. Oh my god. I need to take a very quick picture of the recording time because I decided to read all of that in one sitting because I'm an idiot. So, come on, focus. Focus. I mean, I could just take a screenshot, but whatever. So it is currently 6 hours, 25 minutes, 19 seconds. And sure, there were some moments where I had to like pause, take a breath, drink some water, and then continue reading, or go back and, redo a line or whatever. My god, that was longer than I expected. For a first build that is 6 hours. I'm not complaining, but like, wow. Anyways, so I want to say that they both have PTSD, but it is more apparent in Revri. Because, I mean, like literally, we're seeing his war flashbacks and everything. And at the beginning of the story, we were seeing more so the other guy's flashbacks and like the things going on in his mind. And I will admit that the narration being the other guys kind of throws me off at times, where sometimes I'm forgetting that it's the guy on the left that's, narrating or remembering or whatever, and not the one on the right, even though the right one should be talking at certain points in time, but it's like the other guy's narrating what the other guy's thinking or whatever, and it kind of like would throw me for a loop sometimes, and that is my one criticism so far. There are other little things here and there, like maybe some things written a little weirdly, but I think my only real criticism is the narration parts, the parts where we're hearing what's his face's thoughts, the one on the left. And I'm saying the one on the left because unfortunately I just literally forgot his name. But that's because I'm trying to close it out because it is midnight. It's basically 12:30 a.m. right now. I started recording this, at 6? Oh my god. But again, this very interesting story, and I'm wondering how it's gonna unfold because, I mean, I'm assuming that one of them's gonna help the other one over his like PTSD or whatever, but it looks like their relationship is gonna have to go through a whole lot before it's okay. I mean, yeah, they both like each other, and something clearly is happening at the beginning of the story, which I'm assuming is sort of like closer to the end of the story, where one of them is going to sacrifice himself or something. Because, I mean, he's the one on the right, Revri is saying like, no, you can't leave me. You can't leave me alone. Like, yeah, sure, I'll be fine, but like, I will not be fine because you will be gone. So I'm assuming something's going to happen when they reach wherever it is that they're going. I'm assuming they're in the Milky Way galaxy and they're going to the closest neighbor galaxy, which would be Andromeda. So like, okay. But yeah, so I'm very, very worried for these people. Because especially they like to keep things to themselves, which is very bad in a relationship. They need to be able to speak to each other and talk to each other about what's going on. And if they don't, then I don't see their relationship flourishing. So yeah. Anyway, so what are your thoughts? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening and putting up with me reading for 6 hours straight. The only other time that I did that, I think, was when I was recording the the Who Killed Sonic for like the April Fool's Sega visual novel thing that I just read it like completely through because Orion told me to do it. But yeah, this was a lot, but it was nice. I'm interested. It's pretty. But yeah, you know, any comments, write it down in the comment section. And if you'd like to play Hey Moon Eyes or stay up to date with it, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download and play the game yourself. If they have any form of support, I will be linking that down in the description as well. And if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member, which would give you earlier access to these videos as they're being scheduled. This is being recorded on May the 17th. So each piece will probably be out in the month of June, probably towards the end of June, because I mean, this is 6 hours. This is 6 videos worth of content, or maybe 3 very long videos worth of content. So yeah, you know, the public is not going to see this until June. So if you become a channel member and this comes out soonish, because it's going to take a while to edit, unfortunately, you should see this by the end of May, probably. Hopefully sooner, I don't know. But yeah. So become a channel member, support me. It's all appreciated. You know, any form of support is appreciated. You know, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I also have a Ko-fi in case you don't want to support through YouTube because you don't trust Google or whatever. Or, you know, you could do like, hey, I like your videos in like the comment section. You can actually donate money through the comment section now, apparently. I also have a throne, and I do have a mock Lego. I call it Lego set because everybody knows what a Lego set is, of the SR2 Normandy. And at this point in time, nobody has bought it yet. So, but if somebody buys it, I will build it on stream. I think I might have already built something on stream for my birthday. I don't know. We'll see. I already have something. Well, I had something planned for my birthday, but we'll see. Anyways, but this doesn't matter because by the time that the public sees this, it will be June and my birthday will have already passed. But yeah, anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. God, my throat hurts right now.